All right, thank you guys. I'm told that my assignment this evening is to talk about believing, the power of believing. Yes?
Yes.
Is that what you came here expecting, or you were expecting something else? The power of believing, that's what we want to talk about. The power of believing. The power of believing. The power of believing. What you believe is very powerful. But sometimes people don't recognize the power of believing. People don't recognize it. So we just believe things and we get surprised when our experiences are not what we want. And we wonder, where is this coming from? But anything that you experience is directly linked to what you believe. You may know what you believe, you may not know what you believe, but you are always believing as long as you are breathing. Yes?
Yes.
You are always believing. Even if you don't know it, you are always believing. If you are going into a situation and you tell yourself, this is hard, it shows what you believe, right? If you are getting into a situation, you say, this is difficult, it shows what you believe, okay? It shows what you believe. So, this is how our beliefs affect or work in us, each of us. It starts, you see, there's this here, this animal here. This animal here, let's call it my who?
My life.
My life. My life. Your life consists of your daily experiences, consists of your daily habits, what you do on a day-to-day basis. It consists of your daily actions, your daily behaviors. When you put that together, they say, this is my life. How are things going? We are talking about, what have I experienced today? What did I do today? You know, that's my life, right? And when things are not going on well here, when things are not going on here, we want to look for solutions. Yes? We want to look for solutions. Now, in most cases, people go outside. People go outside. We are going to talk about going outside and going inside. We're going to talk about that. Going external and going internal. But for now, these experiences are not accidents. These experiences are not accidents. They are a result of a process. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter your level of education. You go through the same experiences. Everything that becomes your experience starts as a belief. And what you believe triggers what you think, right? If we were going to ask each of us here to describe this room, how many versions of this room are we going to have?
32 different ones,
We are 32 here?
I think.
Yeah. We are going to have 32 different versions of this room. Why?
We're all individuals.
We are all individuals. What makes us individuals? What we believe about this room and what we think about this room. And when you believe and have thoughts, your thoughts produce your feelings. Sometimes we say, well, I was sitting there and she made my day miserable. No one can make you miserable without your permission. We get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. No one can make you miserable without your permission. Sometimes you are driving in traffic and you say, this traffic is getting into my nerves. You are not, it is not getting into your nerves. You are putting it in your nerves. Right? You're putting it in your nerves. How? By what you believe about the traffic, and what you think about the traffic, and how you feel about the traffic. That is where the problem is. The people who you call your enemies, they are not your enemies. The enemy is in what you believe about that person. Yes?
Yes.
If you believe this guy doesn't like you, what are you going to think?
That he doesn't like you.
That is no good. It's no good. I don't have to spend my time with this guy. He's a loser. He's an enemy. But if you think this guy is a nice guy, your thoughts are going to be different. That's how powerful beliefs are. Your thoughts are going to be different depending on what you believe about that situation. As we sit here, we are concerned about staying sober. What do you believe about staying sober? Do you believe you can make it? Or do you believe you've tried and nothing works? You have this is practical. You know, what do you believe? You know, some people believe that they have tried everything and nothing works. That's what you believe, and that will determine what you think. And your thoughts will determine your feelings. And your feelings will determine your attitude. Your attitude will determine your mood. A mood is an attitude that you have held for some time. After you have held an attitude for some time, it becomes a mood. Let's go to the beach and have a nice time. No, I can't go because this thing happened to me 7 days ago or 2 years ago. I'm in a mood because I held that attitude for some time. So because things are not going well in my life, we want to change here. We want to change here. People drink and do drugs because they want to change the way they feel. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
People want to change the way they feel. Correct?
Immediate gratification.
Right. So you are trying to change the outcome instead of changing the input. You are trying to change the output instead of changing the input. Your feelings, your attitude, your mood is the result of this stuff here. That's why you do your temporary fix, you feel excited, and you believe, I got it this time. Have we ever been there?
Yes.
I got it this time. Yes. I'm not going to drink again. I'm not going to do it. Are you sure? Yes, I'm not. No, I know I'm not going to do it. And you mean it. Yeah? Because you have done something here. But you see, this is the end result. But after a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, a year, 2 years, what happens?
You lose interest.
You lose interest. You go back to drinking.
Yeah.
You go back to drugs. Why? Because your beliefs and your thinking has not changed. Now, you begin to blame where you are and you say, let me go this side. You come this side, the problems are getting worse. You say, no, let me go here. Maybe this is now Jacksonville. My addiction is getting worse. I thought the problem was there. Why is the problem following you wherever you go?
Because you are the problem.
Okay.
You are the problem. I want us to be more specific. Your beliefs and your thoughts are the problem.
Mm.
Do we get it?
Yeah.
Your beliefs and your thoughts are the problem. So if I go to Atlanta, do I leave my beliefs behind?
No.
No.
I go with them. Do I leave my thinking behind?
No.
No. How about if I go to church? Do I go with my beliefs?
Yes.
If I go to AA meeting, do I go with my beliefs and my thinking?
Yes.
Have we seen people relapse going to AA?
Yes.
Have we seen people relapse going to church?
Yes.
And we wondered what is going on. Yes?
Yes.
You also wondered. You were surprised. I'm doing my best. I attended 90 meetings in 90 days, but nothing happened. What is the problem? The problem is here. So no matter how much you change these feelings, this is the temporary fix. This is the temporary fix. What you need to change is here, here. And when you change here, then this will follow. This will follow. Look at those days when you have happy thoughts. How do you feel?
Good.
Energetic.
How is your attitude?
Good.
How is your mood?
Positive.
Change your beliefs, change your thoughts to this is a bad day. What happens? Becomes a bad day, right? Wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, this is going to be a long, long day. What happens to the day?
Even longer.
You are a miracle worker. You have just created a very horrible day. Yes?
Yes.
So, it's important to understand this equation. Your feelings are like a thermometer. What does a thermometer do?
Take turn.
Take the temperature. So if you fix the thermometer, or if you break it up, you say this thermometer is getting into my nerves, does it change the temperature in the room?
No.
No.
Mhm.
But we are trying to fix the thermometer.
Okay.
Fixing the wrong thing.
They are trying to fix the thermometer. If your gauge is reading 0 or towards 0 on the fuel, the gas, yeah, can you take a hammer and say this gauge is messing my day? Does that bring fuel into the car?
No.
No. But that's what we try to do. We try to fix our feelings, we try to fix our attitude, we try to fix our mood. I'm lonely. I should take a walk. That's fine, but it's a temporary fix. I'm sad. I need a drink. But that doesn't take away the source of the problem, the source of the loneliness, the source of the sadness, the source of the anger. So what you need is to go to what you believe and what you think. Not what you believe in general. What do I believe about what is going on in my life right now, here and now? Sit with yourself. What do I think about me and the sobriety? Yes? Because sometimes we go general, waste a lot of time to try to go there and there. No, sit with yourself, because what you believe is what is creating those problems or creating those experiences that you are going through. So the issue is to ask yourself, what do I believe about this situation? What do I believe about this problem? What do I think about this situation? What do I think about this problem? When you do that, you will be able to get to the bottom of the problem. And once you find what you think and what you believe, what do you do?
Say that one more time, Doc.
When you find what you believe and what you think about this problem, what do you do?
You got to act on it.
Let's get more specific.
You change.
You change it.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Right, you change it. Sometimes everyone is good at advising us, why don't you change?
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm normal. Yes?
Yes.
I'm normal in my dysfunction. I'm normal in my insanity. And you're telling me, you're telling me to change. I'm fine with my dysfunction. I'm fine being in the mud because I'm used to the mud. I don't know anything else besides being in the mud. And you're telling me, change. What should I change? You should change. That's what we do. Yes?
Yeah.
You see, because when you are used to doing certain things, they become normal. But only when you go inside yourself and ask yourself, why am I always having problems over this issue? Why am I always having problems? What do I believe about my marriage? What do I believe about my rent? Yes?
Yeah.
What do I believe about my rent? Because there are some people who have problems with rent even when they get paid. Yes?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what do I believe about rent? You will find the answer. What do I think about paying rent? You will find the answer. But in most cases, we think, oh, I don't have money, or the economy, or the government. We come up with all kinds of excuses. But the problem boils down to what you think, what you believe. Okay. Now, I say, when we have a problem, we have a choice to go inside or to go outside. We have a choice to go inside or to go outside. Let's say, what do I want? I want healing. Yes?
Yes.
This is what I want. And I believe. I went to church and there was a very nice sermon the preacher preached. We all sang, we all got fired up by the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Yeah? And I'm sure my healing should happen, right?
Wow.
I'm a believer. So what do? I look for it. See it. But I can't see it. So we cancel that. I say, well, I have another sense, and this is sense of smell. I smell my healing. There's no smell of healing. There's smell of sickness. I try to hear it because I have 5 senses. I try to hear my healing. What happens? I don't hear it. I say, no, let me try my sense of taste. Yes? Taste it, but no taste. In fact, the taste is there, which says that I am dying. Yes? I'm dying. I want to touch my healing. Right? So, let's try and touch our healing. Touch it, but what happens? It's not there. 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 So what comes in? I begin to
Feel it.
doubt.
Okay.
Yes? I thought we sang in church. I thought the preacher promised that it is going to happen. But I don't see it. There's something wrong here. So, what do I see? I see absence of healing. I see lack of healing. I get frustrated. I get fear. Yes?
Yes.
Now you really fear that since I can't see it, I'm going to die. Do we follow this, guys? This is what we do as human beings. We want to see it, smell it, touch it, feel it, hug it, but it's not happening. So, God promised healing. He must have been lying. Because I can't feel mine. I can't see mine. Yes? Now, this is sense believing. Yes? This is sense believing. In other words, you are depending on your five senses. How far can you hear? How far can you see? Is it very far? Your senses are
Limited.
Your senses are limited. But because you trust them, you believe that it's not there. Because my senses tell me that my body is painful instead of experiencing healing. So, there is another type of believing. There is another type of believing. Now, when you are on the sense side, you are depending on the natural. You are depending on the physical, the visible, the ordinary. Natural, physical, visible, ordinary, material. Now, this is one dimension of life. There is another dimension. The supernatural. The non-physical. The invisible.
The extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
The internal?
Ordinary. The non-material. Or if you want, you can call it
Ethereal.
the spiritual. Do we see it?
Yes, sir.
In most cases, when we depend on our five senses, we confine ourselves to this, and we don't go there. Now, you can't go here using your five senses. Those who believe in God, not just those who believe in God, everyone has spiritual senses. Everyone has what? Spiritual senses. Right now, if I tell you guys to go to your bedroom, you will be there within seconds. How did you get there?
Walk.
No? While you are sitting there,
Mentally.
You thought.
By believing.
you used your imagination
Yeah.
and visualization. Those are your spiritual senses. Okay? Wherever you can't go physically, go there in your imagination. Go there in your visualization. By the way, I want to make a difference between these two. Visualize, imagination. Visualize is like remembering what you have experienced before. Imagination is creating a new experience. Okay? Is creating a new experience. So you start imagining what it feels like to be healed.
Manifestation.
You start imagining what it feels like to be healed. That's how you receive healing. Do we get it? And if you have been well in the past, you can visualize those times that you were well. And now you are bringing it into your Now this is the big one. Because anything that is not in your consciousness, forget it. Yes?
Yes.
If it's not in your consciousness, forget it. So we have to bring whatever we want into our consciousness by going to this side of our life, using our spiritual senses, visualization, imagination, consciousness, awareness, assumptions. We are always assuming. Yes?
Yes.
You see a speeding car, you make a conclusion. You know who is driving that car.
Oh, Richard.
Yes? You know who is that who driving that car. What have you done? You made an assumption. You come to this gathering, you make an assumption. I don't know what he's going to talk about today. That's your assumption. It's going to be another long Sunday evening. That's an assumption. And that's what you bring into your consciousness. And that's what you take home with you. So, you have control over these things. In most cases, we visualize what we don't want. We imagine where we are coming from, where we don't want to be. That's where we spend a lot of time thinking about, talking about, romanticizing about it. But we are building stuff in our consciousness which we don't need. Your consciousness is the key to that closed door. And you see, there should be no closed door, because just now I told you to go to your bedroom and you went there and came back. So there's no wall, there's no time. You can take your mind to what you want. Now you are practicing faith. Your faith is not so much in God. It is, I got my healing. I got my solution. I got my answer. That's what your faith should be about. In most cases, we are having faith in God, hoping that one day He will heal my leg. He has finished healing. He is not going to create new healing. Yes? He has finished. If I want money, all the money that I need is already there. But if it's not in my consciousness, what am I going to get?
Nada.
Nothing. I'll get what is in my consciousness. I was reading the story of some young lady who won the lotto somewhere, some of the northern states, over 2 million. After 2 years, she was begging the projects.
Wow.
Yes. Why? Because there was something in her consciousness. Even her, when she was in millions, her consciousness was about being poor. And when you have poor consciousness, all the money will run away from you. So your consciousness is your friend, is your ally, but it can also be your enemy. If you don't use it wisely. Your visualization, your imagination, your assumptions, these are supposed to be your friends, to work for you. But sometimes we spend a lot of time imagining, visualizing the problem. And you say, life is tough. Life is tough, that's true. But what do you have in your imagination? What do you have in your visualization? What do you have in your assumption? By the way, God is what?
Invisible.
Invisible. God is spiritual. So why do you try to see God walking on 2 legs? Why? Why do we do that? Huh?
Look for proof.
Yeah.
We're used to, as you wrote on the previous page, seeing it, feeling it, tasting it, touching it. So we're so used to the natural instead of the supernatural.
Exactly. So, if you want healing, touch healing with your visualization. Touch healing with your imagination. Touch healing in your consciousness. Touch healing in your awareness. Touch healing in your assumptions. Then you now can move mountains. You can't move mountains with your hands. Yes? People say, yeah, mountain moving faith. Mountain moving faith is not going to come from here. Mountain moving faith comes from this side. And you are using this. These are your spiritual senses. And use them to your advantage. There's a lot to say about this topic, but I think let's stop there. Let's digest what I talked about and see how we can apply it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, sir.
It's kind of like the same thing with people that are in and out of jail in the prison system and whatever corrections facility is. The chances of them coming back are very high because that's all they've seen and that's all they've known.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to imagine in when you have 4 walls and there's a certain group of people around you at all times. The same thing with addiction too. If you cannot visualize yourself being sober because you've been enveloped with that your whole life, you're going to more than likely fall back into it. So I agree with what you're saying. It's changing your beliefs.
Yeah, but that's why we have training programs like this. The best sports people in the world. What do you think makes them so well? What do you think makes them win gold medals?
They surround themselves with competition and
It's here.
They believe it. It's in their
They,
conscience.
they are winning before they go for the Olympic Games.
Okay.
They have already won. If you read about Michael Phelps, the big sports guys, Tiger Woods, they have won the game before they are on the golf course. How have they won? They have won in here. That's how they do it. They have won the game before they get into the field to compete. They have it. They are confident because they have seen it. They have lived it. They are conscious of it. But if we don't do this, we go into the field, we are timid. We are afraid, we are worried. That guy looks so smart, can run fast. You're already losing more. You're already losing more. So this is not a gimmick. This is not something you can wish away. Whether you know it or you don't, you are always using your visualization. You are always conscious of something. You are always assuming things. Why not spend time assuming you are healed, imagining it, visualizing it, bringing it in your consciousness? But you see, that's why I said this is a very broad subject. There is beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Have we heard about that?
Greek alphabet?
That's
Frequency.
my brain frequency.
Yes.
Brain frequency. Beta is, when you think there's, electrical charges. Every time you think, you talk about racing thoughts, right? We are thinking so fast. That's your beta level. Now, if you are going to change, you want to bring your thinking down. That's why when people, they see that you are waked up, they say, calm down. The calm down is to say, calm down from higher frequency to lower frequency. It's difficult to try and change and reprogram yourself when you are in the beta level. You have to calm down. Sitting down and closing your eyes will help you to calm down. If you add some deep breathing, that will help you to calm down. And I'm sure some of you are already doing it. Sit down with yourself, close your eyes, and you can imagine and visualize a lot faster. But we know this is what is happening because the sports people, this is what they use. Has anyone been playing sports before?
Yes.
Did you do any of these things?
Yeah, you had to step on the field with the confidence that that's your game and that
Right.
you're prepared and going to win.
Right. And we have to train ourselves. We have to train ourselves. It just doesn't happen. Because you see, we were very good at visualizing the drink. Yeah? We had vivid images of the drug dealer. Some people tell me, before the dealer came, I was already salivating, producing saliva, smelling the stuff before the dealer comes. What do you think you were doing? You were doing visualization and imagination. So this is not far away. It's close. You are doing it day after day, day after day. All right? Yes, sir.
With all this, there's for me, it comes down to focus.
Yes.
The way I look at all this is if I don't focus and have my focus set on visualizing,
Yeah.
imagination and consciousness, then that's not gonna work for me.
That's
You know?
true. It won't work for you, it won't work for anybody. What he's saying is very important. I was not going to talk about that, but you see, it starts here. So thank you for bringing that up. Because when you were drinking, you were paying attention. When you were using your drugs, you were focused. You were concentrated. You were doing it persistently. You were doing it consistently. How much attention are you paying to sobriety? How much focus are you paying to sobriety? How much concentration? How persistent are you? How consistent are you? This is what will make the difference between getting to the finishing line and relapsing. If you look the amount of attention you were paying when you were drinking, and maybe use a quarter of that for your sobriety. Yeah? A quarter, I'm not asking for too much. Bring a quarter of it to your sobriety. You will find that your life will be different. Your life will be different. So recovery is not that complex if you know what to do. Somebody said, if you know where you are going, you can take shortcuts. Even if you don't take shortcuts, you can remain on the right path. You don't get lost. But if you don't know where you are going, it's very easy to get lost. Those Jewish guys, how many years did they take to get to the promised land, which was 11 days away?
40 years.
Let's not do another 40 years. Let's not do another 40 years. Yeah? We know where to go. We know what to do. So let's do it. Much of it we were doing it when we were drinking, but we are not using that when we are trying to be sober. All right, any other comments, questions?
A lot of us can take this to heart, and like Dr. Nzuzu said, thank you for bringing that up, because I can remember when I struggled mightily, when I was in AA meetings, NA meetings, home groups, whatever you want to call it, settings like these, this wasn't there. Now, we just talked about it. If we flipped it and we were still in our active addiction, if there was a dope dealer standing up here saying, you know, I'm going to be handing out free whatever your drug of choice was, he would have 100% of this, 100% of that, and so on and so on. We have to flip that. And like Dr. Nzuzu says, and so do many of us here throughout the rooms and wherever we go, church, we don't even need to give that whole 100% like we used to do here. If we do just half of what we used to do in our addiction. Before I got sober, guys, I can't tell you the last time I didn't use. Whether I was sick, whether there was a holiday, Christmas, Easter, it meant nothing. I was all of that every day. And without knowing, and Doug and I talk about this sometime, I had a vision when I went the last time. And I imagined life without drugs. And I imagined where I was going to be. And then guess what? To get there, I knew I had to change my beliefs and my thoughts. Okay, no more wilding out. No more this. No more that. No more hanging with the crowd. Because I had a place I needed to be. So, attention, focus, concentration, persistence, and consistency, we already have it in us. Do you hear it? Y'all not missing that, are you? We've been practicing it. Now we just need to practice it on the other side. We're geared, we're equipped, we're prepared to do this. The key is doing it. Not singling anybody out, but I look around the room and to me, this isn't there for what we're talking about. This has got me excited. It's got me inspired. It's got me energized. Discipline and consistency. You got to bring it to the table. Because he talked about it earlier. We've been in the mud so long. Let me speak for myself like we're supposed to. I was in the mud for so long. All I knew was how to be in the mud. So now we got to start relying on these 5 senses that he's talking about. And we got to look for the extraordinary. We got to look for the supernatural. How do we get that healing? Through these things that he's talking about. We all love God. We all know God. But we got to have that faith.
Amen.
Anybody want a question for Dr. Nzuzu? Anybody got any comments on this?
No, I just wanna say, Dr. Nzuzu, thank you for coming out again. I was here, and I can't remember what actual, lesson I came in on, but you had, sparked my attention, and I've learned a lot from you. And I appreciate you coming out and, you know, giving back and being of service, so, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, it's good to see you. I've been in your groups and classes since I was about 19, 20 years old. I don't know if you remember me. I'd always be in Miss Stephanie's group at Wakaiva.
Yeah, your face looks familiar. I remember this guy.
Yeah,
How you
James.
Yeah.
It's funny because I looked at your book when I got into the house and I was like, oh, this man got a book. I know this guy. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
I got a comment. I've been fortunate enough to, I think I may have missed you once. Your initial presentation to this sober living facility, Richard, was in Mandarin.
Yes.
And I was there. And it only gets better for me, and I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right. Yes, sir.
I think what you said is broad. I think the first that page there, or the last page, visualizing a presumption and awareness. But some people can see things and they don't see what their higher power is. You can ask God for $1 million and people will think that they got a blessing, but the blessing don't come from what you receive. It comes from the portion you're supposed to give away. So they might not never know that their higher power is there. That's just a thought I had over that.
Yeah, and that's a very valid point. But whatever it is it there in your consciousness? That's the bottom line. Because if I want something, it could be a job or to marry somebody. And if I don't have it in my consciousness that there is somebody waiting to say yes, it will be hard to get something. If I'm looking for a job and I think there are no jobs, I go to advise CNN. They tell me the housing market is crashing. I go to Fox News. Now, in my consciousness, what do I have? No job. I go and look for a job the following morning. What do I get? No job. Because it's not there in my consciousness. Now, this is not theory, guys. This is not theory. It's practical.
But you also have to have determination too, at the same time.
You say what?
Determination too. Determination, like you have to be willing to follow that, the visions, the imaginations and all that. You know, determined to do it, not just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I'm thinking of this
Motivation.
Yes. Motivation, if you find yourself going down about your excitement about staying sober, ask yourself, what is my motivation to stay sober? And sometimes I ask people, why do you want to stay sober? Why do you want to be sober? They can't answer that question. And it's sad, because that's the key to keep you going. If you want to stay sober and you don't identify your motivator, how are you going to keep doing it? How are you going to keep doing it? You won't. And so that brings in the determination. How can I be determined to do something that I don't see how I'm going to benefit? If I don't, the motivator is about benefit. What am I going to benefit by staying sober? If I don't see it, I will go to what is familiar. Yes.
There's a, he was talking about, the focusing and, there's this story in the big book called Acceptance Was the Answer, or Acceptance is the answer, and it talks about, having a magnifying mind and how, you know, I can look at the defects of the people around me and myself, and that's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. That's gonna become eventually all that I see. If I look at the good things in life, and they call it the law of attraction. If I look at the good things in life and how I can improve and, you know, stay sober, then those things magnify. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. I'm not perfect at any of this. I fall short every day, multiple times a day. However, I do, like when I do see myself fall back, I pray. And this past week, I've been really thinking about, like where I'm at work and like where I'm at today in general. And I come to realize, man, that everything, even down to the willingness to put in the footwork, came from God. Everything. So I'd be a fool to believe that I've done any of this by myself. So, I don't know, I just felt like I should share that.
Thanks for
Thanks
sharing.
for sharing that, man. That's well said.
Touching on what Dr. Nzuzu just spoke of, and I learned this through his workbook and through his book, is this motivation thing. And so I will ask guys as they come in now, what's your motivation? And typically if they don't know, they will tell you something that's an external motivator. I want to be a good daddy. I want to get a Maserati. I want to do this. I want to do that. The internal, and we talked about the internal earlier. The internal motivation is the key. I don't know about any of y'all, but in the depths of my drug use, I wasn't trusted anymore. I was inconsiderate. I was selfish. I was manipulative. I was dishonest. So, without taking his course when I came out of Salvation Army, my motivation was I wanted to be trusted again. Now watch how this works together, because a lot of guys come in and they want to be reunited. Let's say some of you guys want to be reunited with your kids, and that's wonderful, and you should be. But the way back to that isn't on a Facebook chat with them, isn't on sending a birthday gift, isn't wanting to go be with the baby mama, and go to the park and play kickball and all that. All good things. But that's fleeting. The way to get it and have it permanently is to change those internal motivators. If you're trusted again, you're going to be with your son. If you're honest again, you're going to be with your daughter. If you're not a thief anymore, you're welcome at the house. If you got good integrity, you can be around successful people. You understand how this works? You understand how you can grasp for the wrong things? And it goes back to his definition of recovery. There's a wrong way and a right path to recovery. Everybody at the Bridges of Hope, whenever I spoke, know and has heard me say it. You guys have heard me say it. It's change with an appropriate starting point, followed by interconnected activities that flow in a logical sequence. If we don't get this internal stuff done, how are we going to be good fathers, good husbands, good sons, good uncles? You can't. The answer is you can't. And that means you're not in a logical order. It has to be logical. Let's work on that trust first. So I don't have to call those parents, and when I call them, and when I call, they see my number come up, their stomach gets, soft. What have you done now? When is the hammer going to drop? I hear a lot of them say. That's what we need to erase. That was my journey. I erased that first. I had to be trusted again. I had to start telling the truth again. Stop manipulating people. I had to give of myself and not take. And I kept it going. I stayed inspired. I just so happened today, I gave away a kidney.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Today?
Not today.
Oh.
Zach, sometimes it's best not to open it up and let everybody know. But anyway, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Anybody got any questions? Anybody agree this is powerful stuff? Guys, if you take the tools that are at your disposal, the big book, AA, Purpose Driven Life, Rick Warren, the big book, giving back to you, you got to put it all together. You put it all together, these are the tools that work. He made a great sports analogy. I used to go play, I was a sports guy. I'll never forget, we went to go play these people one day. We played Lake City. Lake City got them country boys. We go to play them, they got beards. I'm scared before the game even started. I've lost the game already and we got trounced. And they tore our bus up. But dig deep, guys, if you're visualizing great things, if that imagination takes you to places, if your conscious mind, your awareness and your assumptions. And he said something else that's powerful. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. We make it rocket science. It's really, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's really quite simple. All right, any questions, comments? Man, I think this was great. Thank you, Dr. Nzuzu. I sent Brian a text today. I said, we got Dr. Nzuzu today. He said, enough said. He texted like, enough said. Doug, you want to pray us out this evening, sir?
Father, we thank you for the chances that you give us to change.
Yes.
Father, we thank you that you tell us over and over and over in your word that that's the characteristic of a disciple of Jesus. That we sit down with ourselves, we sit down with you, and we look at ourselves and we decide, we see what we need to change. Father, help everyone in this room have the awareness, the consciousness, the visualization that they can change and they can become something that they are not now. Father, help us to trust you. Help us to be led by the Spirit. Help us to have the kind of focus and determination that you want us to have. Again, Father, we know that there are things that we deal with that not everyone else deals with. But we can deal with them with your help. We thank you for Dr. Nzuzu for bringing really spiritual principles of life into this classroom of sorts. It's very powerful, and hopefully it is, in a sense, very motivational. Well, Father, most of all, we thank you for Jesus. Pray in his name. Amen.
Amen. That was great.
Yeah.